Hello everyone, my name is Alina and I am very glad to invite you in our first The Awareness Club talk. I am here today with the founders, Anna, Bogdan, Rainer, and we are going to share with you how we arrived into this moment of proposing to you the Awareness Club, what drove us here, and to share a bit about ourselves. So we are going to dig in with some questions that are meant to reveal a bit about everything.
I would go into discussing about what is the Awareness Club. And firstly, I need to mention that it was a vision that it started 3 years ago. It took different forms and shapes, but it arrived in this form where we are creating a community on the same interest that we are having here at this table, and which is awareness and consciousness itself. And the primordial question of each person, which is, who am I?
And about life. And about the challenges.
And about each one's path, no matter of what they are doing and what are the practices that they are involved and challenges in their life, into how to overpass them, how to evolve together, and maybe most important, to bring beautiful voices of wise people that hopefully we will have in this podcast, that are coming together into discussing these topics that are the foundation of our existence.
The Awareness Club, for me, it represents first the space that we were able to create for each other. And it's something that it's so valuable for me that I wanted to extend it even more. And although my journey into understanding even the idea of spirit or soul, materialism, and all glued together started around 2007, with a peak in 2010, 2012. I think the Awareness Club started fully, the awareness passion or inquiry started fully in 2024, around my birthday, when I realized that I have so many fears that I'm projecting over my kids without being able to not stop them, control them in any way, that it sent me to a journey of self-inquiry. And then I discovered all the concepts that I was aware of, but not really digging into it. So for me, the Awareness Club, it's a journey, a self-inquiry, shared self-inquiry with you and whoever is passionate about it. And there are so many beautiful people in the world right now. It does not restrict to a certain category of the society. More and more people are passionate to understand and to live with awareness. And this is actually the space that I wanted to share on a more broader space. And I'm curious about your perspective, because we have often a lot of talks about it that hopefully soon people will be able to hear about.
For me, the Awareness Club is about community, but also about putting more consciousness on yourself, on what you are doing, on how maybe your authenticity impacts the world around you. And I was asked to join this journey not so long ago, and I'm very happy to be here.
For me, the Awareness Club came as a natural evolution of the past couple of years, where I was delving more into discovering about myself, about fostering closer connections with the close ones around me. And I saw such potential that I said to myself, this is the path that I would like to follow, and also bring to the world this kind of community aspect and space where you can share ideas, where you are heard, where you feel you have the same resonance with the others and the same view on life and reality. So why not bring this to a broader scale out into the world, where you can make an impact and improve people's lives and get the best out of themselves.
And what a better moment for this to happen than now, when the world is prepared to receive this. I don't think we were as well prepared before, because if we are looking back, 2012, I think it was a big shift. And since we are hearing more and more about different practices, about, for example, breathing, about yoga, about retreats, things that were not happening before. And also the support of the communities on social platforms, social media platforms, that without them, you cannot touch many different people. So this is an opportunity that we are having in our days, even though social media has, as we all know, its bad parts as well.
Like everything in this duality, there is a good and a bad. The most important awareness, I think, can go either ways. Anyway, you have awareness of something, you can use it in a good way or in a bad way, or not necessarily in a bad way, but in a wrong way, with intention or without intention. But here it's an invitation about being aware of ourselves, about everything, about the whole world, and to evolve, I think, with awareness or conscious about it, because we evolve anyways. I think it's embedded into our nature, into this universe nature, evolution. But if you do it with awareness or without, that is a choice. I think that we all have to do at one point. I know for sure that I had to have mine done in 2023, and probably I will share more about this thing soon. But so if we are here to share a space, let's maybe speak a little bit about ourselves so that people can understand how we all arrive to being in such passion about spreading the word about awareness and what is humanity as striving.
I was starting to think of who am I, and to ask questions about God when I was 14, and I was in the military high school and entering into a literature and musical council, and I started writing about these ideas and philosophy of life, which I think then it was the first sparkle. And then moving through life, I had different episodes where I was encountering spirituality and developing myself more and more. And also 4 years ago, I had an out-of-body experience that felt that I am not anymore just improving myself and finding a path through life, but I also have a mission that is above me and that can guide my evolution, and through which I can be on one side in service, and on the other side to have a duty in life. Now I would just say that I am in search of discovering myself, and everything else around it unfolds.
I came to this point now where I look back on my life and I realize the change, especially in the last couple of years, that it had on me. Because as a kid, I always felt that there was something more to life. Like I was perceiving life in a kind of static way, even though I had lots of different experiences from all areas. But I still felt there was something missing on a much deeper level. And it was now that through our interactions and through our talks, I finally found my group that resonates on the same aspects like I always did, which was that more emotional sensitivity, especially perceiving things the same way that I do. But as a child, I was never really able to express them to anybody because nobody saw it the same way that I did. So I kind of always felt out of place. And it was now that through our gatherings and through our discussions, I realized that this is the path that I would like to follow. And this is how I saw again the potential also in me and rediscovered my potential. And seeing and finally understanding what I'm also here to bring to the world and to share with the world, and it's I'm happy to start this journey, this new chapter of life.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. For me, I think awareness goes back quite a way on my journey. But as you said earlier, Rainer, that maybe you didn't feel understood or seen in what you were experiencing or feeling back at that time. I was feeling the same. I was feeling very out of place, like an extraterrestrial being, maybe, that cannot voice my real feelings or what I see or how I see the world, as it was not seen as normal. But what is normal? That's also another question. So going back and forth between accepting and being in total denial of what I was experiencing as my reality and my feelings and deep inner world as being very sensitive. And I think the last 10 years led me to a more connected space to myself. And the more I was shedding through the layers that I had put on to fit into this world, to be seen as normal, made me become more aware and accepting that it's okay maybe to feel or to be different than the masses, at least.
Thank you so very much for sharing this, because I think one of the most beautiful things about living in awareness, it is that it's okay to be different, and it's okay to be you regardless of how others have conditioned you, perceived you, tried to make you fit in a specific mold or form and whatever. And I think now we are having a great momentum in time and space in which people need to come closer to what they are. And this is why I love so much this, for example, configuration. And we have as well other people that are fitting into this, where authenticity and stop being what they should be. It's something that it's more reasonable, it's more felt. And I think that eventually this will drive, as many as we arrive in this state of mind by the critical mass of the population, to accept that we don't have to be what we are told to be, but rather we should feel who we are, express that, and invite others to do the same.
What is our purpose? What do we want to share with the world? And what is the purpose of the Awareness Club?
It's very interesting, although I'm not sure I can fully formulate right now, in the sense that in this instant, for me, the Awareness Club represents the vehicle of exploration with many. So you are, let's say, the closest circle of exploration, and we have other friends with which are exploring individually and in the group. But this exploration has such potential in terms of my souls, hearts coming together in this exploration in a space that is offering safety. And I think it's one of the things that relates to me the most when I want to invite people into a space, is to feel safe to be seen, safe to be heard, safe to just be, sometimes even quiet. And I was mentioning earlier the scientists that I value so much. There are a few that are exploring consciousness and awareness in a very scientific way. And for me, it's like a fresh of breath air, each study that appears and supports what we were thought and thought not to see or not to mind, like even our emotions, like, come on. So it's a space of exploration, of inquiry, of bringing beautiful minds that already explored, that gain wisdom, in which we can put themes on the table that can benefit us and as many. And why I'm saying I'm coming back this often to this us or I is because everything started from the point of I.
Coming from here, Anna, both you and Darina are coach, and I wanted to ask you, what is the intention of what type of techniques or what we can bring through your knowledge and wisdom to the ones that are coming to see our channel?
So if I might begin, mostly the regulation of the nervous system, as a lot of us have been taught to live in survival in this world that is getting crazier by the minute. It has always been very intense, but I feel like with the media and all the constant overstimulation of information, it's very important to keep your center or find it again. So there are many techniques, be it somatic, going back to the body, going back to feeling some sensations, voicing them, naming them, and just exploring and breathing deeply to integrate them would be one of the techniques.
There is a full process of, I think, what is called knowing oneself from all the levels. So awareness can go into all the layers of our life, starting from the inner world to the external world. If you're not able to be aware of your internal world and you are able to focus only on the external, we have the first missing or the first misalignment. Everything starts from inside, and we were guided too much time to look on the outside as validation, as support, as everything, while we have all the resources and everything inside. And for me, I think this is one of the most important discoveries, my inner world, which was something not to be seen, not to be touched until 2 years ago. And it demands practice, a little bit of kindness to oneself, compassion and love and acceptance. And once that comes, it starts to come back to others as well.
And this is your path. And each one of us is having a different path.
Yeah.
And they were starting to get more and more in touch with themselves in a different way, either through a conscious way, looking at things that they relate to, or through practices, or through challenges in life. So in the end, I think it doesn't matter what is the path and what is the structure on which you evolve, because in one point in time, at a certain age, you can relate to something, and further in time, you can relate to something else. So and if it would have been a universal path, we will know by now.
Yes.
So having this in mind, I think that we can say that what the Awareness Club is transmitting is the elevation path, because I consider that elevation, it's something that you can attribute to every chapter of your life. You can elevate your business, you can elevate your spirituality, you can elevate your relationships. But overall, everything comes down to how I elevate myself in order for all the chapters to have an improvement. And this elevation comes, it's hand in hand and represented in different domains or areas with different names. On a spirituality level, you can say that you rise up your frequency. From a healing point of view, you are healing your traumas, you are overpassing the limited beliefs, and so on. So in the end, I consider that it doesn't matter where you start or where you're at, because the elevation path never ends. And we are just here to support this elevation path and to bring more and more information that we relate to, people that we admire, figures that are bringing light into the world, and hopefully we will have them in our podcast and we will meet them, and maybe why not even creating a circle of or a council of wise people that can guide the world in a different way that was happening until now.
And if I may add a word here, I think when you said guide the world in a different way, and we were speaking earlier about emotions and about the nervous system, and you were saying that we were living in a fear-based frequency, if I can say, or programming of the nervous system. I think this is the beauty of our times, that we have the chance to come to the conclusion that the fear, that everything that we feel is as well something that we create or that is created. And to start looking at where people are fostering something different, like safety, security, and love and compassion and cooperation, in which people can thrive together. But you cannot thrive if you are in fear. There is a clear point of starting to inquire. Like if I would invite, or if I know that somebody is interested in what awareness is, I would suggest explore that as much as possible and see where your awareness is on every level of your lives. Personal relation, personal meaning to oneself, then to the relationships, then to the world, then to the business. It's what kind of feelings is there? Is there a need to dominate? Is there a need to control? Because all of these are coming from fear, and we have the chance to transmute that. And we are all at least a third innate spiritual beings, which means that we believe that there is a higher force, that it's guiding us, and we are not just pure matter, that it's having a cause and effect.
A word that has been growing in popularity recently is alignment. So how would you define alignment, and how would you explain of recognizing if you are aligned or not aligned or misaligned?
I think that to be aligned means to be in touch with yourself. And I'm always picturing this, that as in synchronicity, I consider that as much as you're aligning to yourself, to your individual consciousness, you are therefore aligning to the universal consciousness. And then you will be synchronized, or you will feel synchronicities in your life, and your life will be more in a flow state. You will be where you need to be, you will do what you need to do, and so on. So alignment, I think it's the path of also path of healing, a path of rising the frequency. It's the same thing using different wordings. So alignment, it's a refinement of who we are. It's us becoming who we really are as potentiality.
So alignment could be the response to the question, who am I? But not in words, in feelings and manifestation. Could it be?
Yeah.
This makes sense. Absolutely. Maybe also being true to your authentic self, so that the inside resonates with what you're experiencing outside, that you feel at peace, as within, so without. Yeah, this could be also a definition.
Do you think that wisdom comes as well from being truthful to oneself or being aligned?
So to begin, I think wisdom could be simplicity after complexity, if that makes any sense.
Sounds.
Oui. So yeah, when things feel aligned, feel calm, and in resonance with your center, I think you can speak out of wisdom. I think I feel out of wisdom or not connected to it when I'm anxious, when I'm all over the place, and when I'm not grounded. So I think I cannot access wisdom or be in wisdom, if we can say so, when I let the outer world determine what is happening inside.
And most of the times when we speak about wisdom, I mean, at least me, I'm thinking of the elderly people. And it's never a matter of how much knowledge or what was their profession in their life. It's just a matter that they were passing through time, and that they were experiencing life, and that brought wisdom. From another point of view, I think that wisdom, it's also something that comes from a level of higher self. It's coming from the same place where we're having intuition, where we're having creativity, and so on. It's not in the same, it doesn't come from the same space as knowledge. You can learn as many things as you can, but you might not be wise. So knowledge is creating the information on which we are referring to reality, and then wisdom is coming from how much we experience life, we have our life lessons, or we are more in touch with our higher self.
I was hearing Richard Rudd explaining at one point, the creator of Gene Keys, that we are containers of wisdom, that it's passing through us, through the world, that we don't contain it, we don't own it as knowledge, as you were just describing. That's why it came to my mind, but rather we make room within ourselves for that wisdom to come. But obviously, if you don't pass through all the layers that you were describing earlier, like shedding everything that it's not yours, to arrive to that point from where wisdom can connect and come into this world, I think it's hard, regardless of how many life lessons you experience in a lifetime.
And doing a full circle about alignment, that was the previous one, what do you do to be more aligned and to elevate yourself in the end?
Well, I think you said it very nicely before about shedding. I think more aligned means to like release, let go of all the parts of us that were there to defend ourselves while we were in survival. And to add up to what you're saying, I think because for me it was very complete. But as if I would translate it into my own words, it would be like to drop the defense mechanism, regulate the nervous system.
But in terms of daily practices, what do you do?
But I was speaking earlier about emotions. So for me, this was the first step. Literally, this was the first step. To be able to name at least 3 to 5 times per day what I feel, what I truly feel, without lying myself, which was the first commitment that I had done with myself, not to lie to myself. And I was impressively shocked by the amount of things that I was saying to myself about how I should be, how the world should be, how everybody around me should behave. And, this huge gap between the model of my world that I was creating in my mind and what the reality was. And as big as the gap, as big the suffering it is. So I think I started with owning what I feel, with saying, oh, I was really angry when I heard that. No, a good girl should not say that, or it can be angry and so on. So for me, the first layer was emotional clarity and being able to name it. And then there is a study that I have found out not so long ago. In the moment you are capable to name your emotion, you are actually making it seen, making it be heard, and makes so much sense with the nervous system and everything, that it really stops of holding you or possessing you in the sense. So for me, it's the emotional part, I think, that helped me to be more aligned, to listen to what I feel truly and not be ashamed to myself first and then to others, to like, this is it, what I feel. I mean, it is what it is.
Same for me. I think the key for me is the shift in the focus of attention, is to really listen to myself and to see, is it whatever I'm doing or whatever I believe I should be doing, is it what truly resonates with me? Is it what truly I want inside? And to clutter out, to cut off all the clutter of noise around me. And there's so many external influences and stimuli from outside that unfortunately we, since birth, basically we fall victim to, and we end up paying too much attention on those external factors that try to influence you. And the crucial part for me, which was took a long process, because all my life I was trying to please everybody else and just basically responding to what others thought is important or what they wanted. And I completely lost myself because I was not listening to myself and what I truly want. So it's that shift of attention, because I think you are the most powerful person to you, and so you should keep that power and this kind of position in deciding for yourself where you put the focus on, and
Choice.
and yes, the choice.
In the end, what you are speaking, it's about owning the authority.
Yes, not externalizing the authority.
Sovereignty, yeah. Because otherwise, somebody else will do it for you, not because they want necessarily, but because they are falling into the role while being in your space. So let's start it from there.
So, starting from there to regain maybe your sovereignty, or what I do for myself, as I can only speak of myself, is a lot of stillness and contemplation on a daily basis, getting back to myself and remembering that I am not my thoughts and I am not my emotions. I'm just observant of them, and also checking in and watching what is coming up. For example, as I work with my clients a lot on limiting beliefs, also looking for limiting beliefs in myself. This helps a lot to regain sovereignty when you put some light on these and you maybe reassure yourself and go expand past these beliefs, thanking them for being there because they were there to protect you for a time, for a while, but also putting them aside, seeing them, so integrating them, but acting out of a place of fullness. Yeah.
I was hearing you saying that that I am not the emotions, I am not my thoughts. And this comes back to my favorite part with the question of who am I? And exactly discovering that we are not our emotions, we are not our thoughts, and we are not our perceptions, because all of these are changing. So if they are changing, then they cannot define who we really are.
So, in regards to the Awareness Club, how can people join us? How can they join this community?
Well, it's a very practical question, and I'm very happy that we arrived here. So when we were discussing together about this, we still believe that the first and easiest way it will be through our website as a membership, in the sense like being part of the club. But in this moment, one of the simplest way to transmit from our experience and through the guests that we are going to have, it will be this beautiful platform, and as well the social networks. It will be an invitation as well to not only podcasts, but to workshops and maybe soon retreats, but we will evolve there. We will prepare a summit that has a very clear purpose to hear what the world specialists in our belief and our vision are saying about where humanity is, where it can evolve, how that can happen, and that will lead us to the elevation path, which is the individual path for each human to evolve consciously.
Another thing that we are preparing on a bigger time frame, it's the elevation centers, which will be a physical space where we can implement the elevation path, and bringing together various therapists and various practices in order for people to have a place where they can meet, where they can evolve, and most important, in order to experience different type of practices that normally they will take individually. Because most of the times when we are thinking that we need to overpass, for example, a trauma that we know that is in the background and it's knocking on the door. We are going to, for example, psychosomatic therapist, and you are having a couple of sessions, and you are going for a few weeks, a few months, and then at one point maybe you feel stuck, and then maybe you want to try something else. But all the time where you are going to different individuals. But what if, like in a medical center or like in a well-being center, to have all these specialists together that are also working together, and where they can recommend, for example, to go from an energetic session to, like, for example, you can go to from a kinesiology to a craniosacral to a EFT session.
I think it's the holistic approach in which you layered all the facets. So you start maybe with the mind, maybe you work as well a bit on the brain with neuroscience, but what you do as well with the body. That on the elevation path, I think the priority would be to like make an audit of one's life and need, where is the most required action in that specific point of time. And then it's, as you were saying, they can choose what resonates most to them in that moment. Because there is no, as you're saying as well, there is no recipe. So I cannot say, well, first you go to the neuroscientist so they can map your brain and see if you have trauma, if that trauma it's emotional, if that trauma it's physical, if you feel, obviously you can even say that you can start with the hardware in order to install a good software.
But the most important is for people to relate and to feel prepared and ready
and safe.
And safe with the person that is doing that practice. And maybe you don't feel it at the beginning, and you are feeling that it's out of your reach, but after passing through others, you feel ready to try something different, and maybe at that point it will come hand in hand.
Exactly. And I think, well, I would like to share this in the sense that the elevation path arrives literally as if it is the ideal journey that I would have offered myself when I entered into this path of self-discovery and literally healing, not self-healing. I did some self-healing as well, but I had beautiful people around me that supported me. Thank you as well, dear. And many others that are not here present. So it's a very particular way in which a person can start the journey and end the journey. And the beautiful part is that this journey has a start and has as well finality, a point where it's literally from now on, only if I would go again through a very rough life experience and so on, it's needed to revisit something, because our life, it's quite finite. Our transgenerational isn't, our spiritual isn't, but in order to arrive to a first from T0 to T1 in terms of evolution and of elevation, there is required only a certain amount of time that it's finite. And this is the beauty. And then a person can fly free to its next chapter of their lives.
But I think this is also the most beautiful aspect of the Awareness Club is for anybody who wants to start their own personal evolution to find a space and to find a community where all of this knowledge is shared and all of those practices are curated, and with the community around to have people to talk to and to really develop a personalized approach for their own evolution, and to have that safe space where they can finally open up and explore and dive into this world of personal evolution. And this is what we try to bring now through the Awareness Club, is to have this curated space of the best practices here and there, and to have a tailor-made solution for everybody to start their journey. And
we invite everybody to come in our way and to share their opinions and what they would like to see, and how we can improve, and
Community.
and to build a community.
Yes. of like-minded people with a heart space open to build life and world as beautiful as it can get in our lifetimes.
And
Sounds a bit utopic, but it's pretty doable, I think.
absolutely. And if I might add, maybe you don't feel ready. I think you never feel ready. For myself, it was always pushing myself a bit because, I'm never fully ready to start. But to get into that community, to get that sentiment, that feeling of safety, this helps you a lot to just start. Yeah.
I would like to add, I think also one of the most beautiful moments is when you feel yourself flourish, which many of us unfortunately don't yet. But additionally is when you see the ones around you flourish with you. And that brings such a beautiful drive and such a beautiful energy. And I think this is also what we like to bring with the Awareness Club, is we want to see as many people around us flourish to their best potential.
And what other moment better than this? When we are having all these disruptive technologies, when we are having AI and maybe the ball of AGI and first contact, or who knows what will happen, quantum computing and and cloning and all these type of technologies that are emerging with a reason, and everything it's placed outside of us. So it should be a space for us, because if we don't discover the one self, we cannot discover the outer world, because we are looking at this world, and we are living through the limitations of our brain and through our limited beliefs and through our traumas, even if we perceive or we are aware of it or not, we are still processing the information with them. So once as one, and once we are overpassing more and more these shades, we are having the space, the maturity, and the clear perception in order to take decision and to navigate in a ever-changing world.
The only constant in this world is change. So
No, maybe I'd also like to add now to what you said, is that we invite, of course, all our members, and we encourage all our members to also contribute to the development of the club itself by bringing their own ideas, their own visions, and through intensive discussions and practices to help bring the Awareness Club into the next era.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not only so much we can do ourselves, but any let's say flourishing idea is only possible with the support of the community. So we encourage everybody to be on this path with us.
So until the next one, thank you very much for being here today, for being on the same path, for joining the road.
I launch again an invitation to everybody who is watching right now. There are different channels. Everything will probably be linked below, so you can have access to everything. We are going to prepare as many episodes weekly, interesting, that we find that are a good discussion, a good talk, a good knowledge, and sometimes good practices for each of us, but that are worth mentioning and showing to you as well. And
until next time.